Hi everyone, this is Gary Wilson and welcome to this week's live Path to Prosperity webinar. We are live and we are now recording. If you're listening to this in recording mode, obviously you're going to get this everyone gets the recording the very next day. Okay, as long as you're in the silver level, at least silver or above, you get this automatically. The benefit of being live, of course, is you can post and ask questions live. If not, it's just all recorded, which is good too. A little bit of housekeeping. If you are new, and we should have some brand new South Carolinians in the program, or if you're from South Carolina, we call it South Kakalaki. What's interesting is a lot of people don't know this. I used to live here. This is where my family is from, both mother and father, and I'm very familiar with South Carolina, the Low Country, upstate. You know, of course, the Gold Coast, everything. It's just a beautiful state. Very affordable housing. It's on average, the average home price is below the national average, which means more people can afford homes here. The taxes are very low relative to other states, and there's a high percentage of renters, which means if you want to invest and you're tired of paying the prices you're paying in, you know, Toronto, Montreal, Boston, New York, Washington, D.C., wherever, come on down to South Carolina. There's come get it while the getting's good and you're close to the ocean. I mean, it's just an amazing, you can literally get resort properties here still, get this for $100,000 in certain areas. Okay, it's just amazing. In upstate, of course, you're right next to the mountains, Lake Hartwell, just a beautiful state. So in any case, so that's where I am right now. Then starting Monday next week, I will be in Georgia for the entire month. Okay. So if you're in Georgia and you came through the program when I was there 2 years ago, just look me up. Go to the events page of the website, myinvestmentservices.com. Look and see where I'll be. And if you want to come meet me there, that's great. I know I'm already going to be meeting some of you. We can grab a bite. If you're doing one of your workshops and I'm in the area, please ask. I don't mind coming to your workshops and helping out if you'd like to do that. As long as I'm, within an hour drive or something like that. So in any case, a little bit of housekeeping. If you are new, you'll recognize you're muted by default. The audio is all muted for everyone except for me. I do unmute you from time to time, but for the most part, you use your question box to type in questions. And my understanding is I'm about 99% of getting to all the questions. Apparently, some people have said over the last couple of years, as we're logging off, there's typing in one more question. I just don't see it, unfortunately. So I apologize. But we do try to get to every single question. Also, make sure you do get the email. Look at the email from Beverly the very next day, because it not only gives you the recording of this, but it gives you the upcoming webinar schedule, other important information, updates to the systems, to the content, events that are coming up. For example, at the end of June in Atlanta, we've got another 3-day event. My Investment Services is hosting another 3-day event, and I'll be speaking at that event all 3 days. David Evans from the region is going to be the MC at the event. He's a graduate student. So if you could not make Orlando, we didn't promote the Virginia event across the entire network because it just sold out. I mean, it was just fast. Okay, we decided to increase the headcount for Atlanta. So if any of you are another, Wisconsin, Washington, Kansas, Massachusetts, wherever, some of you said you wanted to go to Orlando, you just didn't work it out. Come to Atlanta. It's an easy flight. It's usually you can fly direct from almost anywhere. It's a major hub for Delta. And we, of course, have an account with Marriott, and they're giving you rooms at actually the Marriott, not the lower end, but the Marriott brand itself for $100 a night, $99 a night. And plus they feed you the lunch so it's the 29th Friday, June, 30th Saturday of June, and Sunday, July 1st for half a day up till about noon. And they feed you lunch on Friday and Saturday. There's a special dinner on Saturday night, a VIP dinner. And we've got some other neat things coming up we're going to talk more about throughout the month. But look for the email from Beverly, guys. If you want to come, my suggestion is, grab your spot. I know the room block is now available, and they're going to make it available until the 14th of June. But my experience has been the room block goes pretty quickly. So if you want to get a room, grab it fast. And you can share a room with others too. Post it on Facebook, on My Investment Services. Go to the community site, post it there. Just look for a roommate if you like. I used to do that too. So it's a great way to keep your costs down. And you definitely want to go. If you can't go to this one, guys, you definitely want to go to one of the 3-day events. I mean, just ask some of the other guys that have been and see who's on. Tom, Daryl, ask both of those guys actually, and anybody else through the community site, and they'll tell you it's definitely, man, it's amazing how much you can learn in 3 days, and it's like practical stuff, so you like learn and earn. So in any case, if you can make it, that's great. It will definitely be overloaded with people from Georgia, but wherever you're from, if you want to come, just go ahead and jump on board. And for those of you at the platinum level, the mastermind level, we are meeting that Monday and Tuesday afterwards, which is July 2nd and 3rd. And that's for the folks that are at the mastermind level, platinum level. So in any case, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into some content. So thanks to Daryl Murphy, we're going to be talking about referrals tonight, okay? So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to go through, there's 20 some odd possible referral techniques, things that you can and should do to get referrals from your clients. And I'm going to send this to Beverly. It's recorded now, so it's going to happen. I'm going to send this to Beverly when we're done, because I may make edits to this as we go through it. So you'll get this tomorrow when she sends you the recorded email, the recording in the email. She'll send you this attachment. It'll be a link. You just click on the link, and it does a download from there. So it's not an actual physical attachment. It's a link that you click on. Okay, so look for that. That way you can have this as your checklist to use. You don't have to do all of these things, but you should definitely be doing probably 3 of them. All right, a referral business. And I'll just tell you personally, once I was up and running with the investors, I was getting way more referrals from investors than I was ever getting from owner occupants. I'm not knocking owner occupants. It's just a mathematical certainty that when you have repeat clients, there's more front of mind presence. That's what that's called. And they're more likely to refer you to somebody, refer someone to you, because of that front of mind presence. They're always thinking about investing. They're always thinking about you, their investor agent, and they'll refer others to you. So I was getting greater than 1 referral on average per client, which is apparently very good. Not every client referred, but some clients referred, 10 people, for example. So it was an amazing statistic. When you think about that, what does that mean mathematically? Well, what it means is you literally double your business. I mean, you're getting just as many clients coming in through referral that you marketed to get to begin with. And yet you don't have to market for referrals. You don't have to spend a lot of money. Usually you can get referrals for no money, and yet you've got a brand new transaction. And if they do the same thing, obviously you can see how this can be more of an algebraic equation. So in any case, first things first, letter A, I use letters because I was basically up to over 20 different ideas. These are things I've done, okay? Whenever you have a transaction, always send an actual physical thank you, okay? You don't have to send flowers and champagne bottles. I mean, that's for owner occupant stuff. For investors, it's more business oriented. Send them a thank you card, okay? And in the thank you card, prompt them to send a referral to you, okay? Now there's more to it than this, but at a very beginning level, every one of you can send out a thank you card for every one of your transactions. And so if somebody buys 10 properties with you, even on the 10th transaction, still send them a thank you card. It's just good practice. It's good. It's a courteous. It's a great business practice, and quite frankly, it's the right thing to do. Okay, and in there you can make a pitch for getting a referral. Also, whenever you get a new client, like you want to go through the marketing process to attract them, you interview them, and then what you do is you send them a welcome email. Hey, welcome aboard the team. I'm glad to serve you. You'll get to meet other investors in the area. By the way, if you really want to help other people that you love get the same services I'm providing you, refer them to me and I'll take care of them. So you can do that in a welcome email. You should all send welcome emails to your clients. So if you set them up on a search, obviously you're going to get an email. You can change the heading. You can change the wording. The opening context in the email to make it a welcome email and send them their first batch of listings at the same time. You'll recognize over time that some of your clients are more likely to respond to emails, some are more likely to respond to text, some are more likely to respond to phone calls. You'll learn over time what their preferences are. For the text folks, send them a text. Say, hey, great seeing you Saturday. We looked at all those properties. We're waiting on a response from our offer now. If you know anybody who wants to invest like you, if you have a close friend or relative send them my way, and we'll see if we can interview them and get them set up too. Send it in a text, okay? Here's something else you may want to consider is birthdays. I do that. We do that in the training platform here. So every one of you, as long as you provide your birth month and day, you get a birthday card. It comes from Beverly, and it's electronic. It's signed by me. But also, I celebrate Christmas, so I send Christmas cards. But if you celebrate Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, any of the other major holidays for any of the religions, if that's something that's important to you, celebrate it by sending out cards, especially the other folks that you know also have that in common with you. If you family members, people from your church or mosque or synagogue, send them cards to celebrate that holy occasion, okay? And in there, you don't want to get too pitchy in there, but what you can say is, once the holiday is over, when can we get together? Or what's a good time for me to call you? Or can we do set up a conference call? Basically what you're doing is you're doing a soft pitch on those types of cards, okay? Another thing you can do, and there's some things, guys, I'm going to spend more time on tonight. The first couple ones, they're actually very easy. They don't take a lot of explanation. Okay, the next one will take more explanation. It's a contest. You can actually have contests for your clients, particularly if you've got a few hundred people in your database, and most of you probably already have that. What you can do is set up a referral program that looks like it is a contest. So you can have different rewards, like whoever refers. Let's say you're really good with the niche of dentists. You can say whoever sends me the most dentists at the end of the year gets a dinner at Reese Steakhouse or something like that. Okay. But so what I'm getting at is you don't just have to have a one prize contest. You can have a contest that has multiple prizes in it, okay, for different categories. Who referred the most number of people to you? Who referred the most in any category? Who resulted in more donations being made to a local charity, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But in any case, the contest, you have to always disclose the rules of the contest in advance, just like any contest. And you always have to disclose who the winners are. You have to notify everybody who were the winners. You can't let that stuff go. I mean, you can, but if somebody files a complaint and you get investigated, they're going to say, well, you didn't disclose everything. It's not like you're going to jail, but it's just something you don't want to have to deal with, okay? So always, when it comes to real estate and contest, wherever you are, your broker should be able to give you the rules for that, for having contests, but it's a great way to get referrals. Now, I mentioned this a few moments ago, but one of the things you can do is this. I learned to do this years ago. I got this from another broker, is a lot of people are very philanthropic and they're very conscientious of social need. And I will tell you, the wealthier you become, the more conscious you become of social need. You realize there's some of us are just, we're better off financially than others. And some of us used to be that way. We used to be in the other category. And so you have sort of a soft spot in your heart for people who need help. Well, you can make a donation to a local charity. So what I do is whenever somebody makes a referral, I call it a silent donation. I don't make a big deal of it, but I make a donation. I do let the referrer know that I made a donation because of the referral that they gave to me, okay? So making a donation to a charity, to something locally, typically, it should be more meaningful, more relevant to your local area. Every major charity has a local chapter. Well, most of them have local chapters, okay? So make it to your local chapter. American Cancer Society, all March of Dimes, my gosh, Goodwill, Salvation Army, their list goes on and on and on. Did you know you can actually even create your own charity, okay? But in any case, making a donation when a referral comes in is a great way to receive business and also give back to the community. And you let the other people know because it makes them feel good, and they should feel good, all right? And by the way, when they feel good, do you think they might be more likely to send out more referrals to you? Hey, real quick, guys, I forgot my question box not open, so let me open up the question box and go. Let's make sure we have some. I didn't miss any questions here. Okay, we've got some questions, so hang on one second. Okay, PF is asking, are you in frequent member program? Oh, so PF, you're talking about probably the hotels. Yes, for Marriott, I am definitely. I've got about 1,100,000 points with Marriott. I could probably stay in Marriott for a month for free, any of them. I am, now personally, I'm a member of other, like Hilton, for example, Hilton Honors, IHG. This particular place here, I'm not part of their group, which is odd. I just, who knows? They actually said it's because I booked through Expedia, and I do that sometimes. And I've got apparently enough points with Expedia. I'm now some type of an elite member or something like that. But Marriott's really where I spend most of my time, and I do get a lot of upgrades with Marriott. Marriott's probably, I shouldn't, well, I'm going to just go ahead and say it. Overall, I would say Marriott is probably the top of the food chain right now in the hotel motel industry. Most people I know who travel frequently really use Marriott a lot. We do use other hotels when necessary, but we go for Marriott first. So in any case, interesting question, right? Beverly, how do we form groups? Okay. So Beverly, I'll put this in the context of another marketing campaign, which is the, what have you learned in class? The workshop, for example. So workshop is what I teach in classrooms. Workshops always work very well in the beginning when you form a niche group around some common interest, vocation, hobby, lifestyle, ethnicity, language spoken, things like that. So if you form a group of investors in your town, say, Columbia, South Carolina, where I just taught, you could call it the Columbia Investors Forum for orthodontists or pediatric dentists, something like that. And in that group, it's easy to generate referrals because people who are in groups are generally more tribal. It's a technical term in the world of marketing is people like to be around people that they're like. So the dentists will tell other dentists, right? The chiropractors will tell other chiropractors. In Boy Scouts, I did a group for Boy Scouts years ago. I'm a Scoutmaster, and it ended up going national. There's a website, is it Facebook? There's a Facebook page called the Great American Real Estate Rebate. And we give 10% rebates back to people in charitable organizations, public servants like firemen, policemen, teachers, nurses, things like that. And we reward them. And so we build groups, Beverly, of people of a common interest. That's really what that comes down to. And it does allow you, when you do that, to get a higher referral percentage because you all know each other, they want to help each other, okay? If I don't want to talk too much about the workshop tonight because it's a different subject altogether, and we could talk about that if you went, Beverly, in a future webinar. Okay. There's also on the silver level membership area. If you log into myinvestmentservices.com, click on members area, go into silver level, scroll down the left-hand side, you'll see all of the recorded webinars. Actually, I think it says previously recorded webinars. They're all in there by reverse order by date, and it gives you the subject for each one too. So you can just search for workshop, and you'll see probably half dozen out there. In any case, that's a great question, by the way, Beverly. So thank you for that. Let's see. This is Shirley. I can see you and see you. The place that you're staying at looks like a nice place. It really is, Shirley. This is pretty nice. So I'm going to go out and get myself some ice cream when we're done. Fassel, or sorry, what town is it again? So Fassel, I guess you're asking about the 3-day event. So Fassel, it's Atlanta, June 29th, June 30th, and Sunday, July 1st. And Beverly's going to be sending out an email probably within the next day or two, if she hasn't already, to everyone who's a current or past student. Because we promoted the Orlando event, some people were able to come from different regions. Actually as far as away as Seattle and Montreal and Wisconsin, but most everybody else was from Florida. So what we did is we did not really actively promote the Northern Virginia event because we wanted the Virginians to be able to go, and they basically sold out like within a couple of weeks actually. In any case, we got feedback from that, and we like feedback because it tells us when we need to make an adjustment or an improvement. So what we decided to do with Atlanta is promote it again. Not heavily. We don't want to like beat you up with a bunch of emails. Just If you want to go, just grab your spot. You'll see an email, maybe 1 or 2 emails, and that's it. Just grab your spot if you want to go. But I can tell you, I've taught in Georgia before, and this is such a hot subject in Georgia, and it's no reason I'm coming back probably for the 4th time if I add them all up. And we have a lot of active students there who do quite well. So if you're looking to invest in other parts of the country, check out Georgia. I don't mean just Atlanta. I mean Macon, Columbus, where the university is, North Georgia, there's Dahlonega, where North Georgia State University is. There's a couple of military bases, air bases. I mean, great place to invest, guys, okay? So in any case, let's see what the questions. Okay, this is PF. What's the minimum donation per referral that you would suggest? Well, that's very subjective, PF. Everybody's different. You know, you can make it a standard rule to say whatever your net is on the transaction you receive as a result of the referral, that your commission, you can say you will donate 10% of your net proceeds, okay? That's usually the most common thing I've seen. You can make it a flat dollar amount. Like even if a referral doesn't turn into a transaction, you can say I make a $25 donation for every referral I get, whether they result in a transaction or not. And which leads me to a very good point. You want to reward the behavior, not the result. So not every referral is going to result in a transaction. I mean, more than will than other types of leads, because they're very warm leads. But you want to encourage people to keep sending you referrals. So the way you do that is don't reward people just when you cash a check. Reward people when they take action. You're rewarding their action. So for years, that's what I did. $25 every time I got a referral. I had in fact, I'll tell you, I switched to 10% after a while, just on my net. It turns out I was getting more referrals when I paid $25 per referral. In gross, I actually paid out less doing that than I paid in 10% of net proceeds. So imagine that. You come from contribution, you serve first, and you get rewarded as a result. So people remember the action. You made a $25 donation every time they gave a referral, regardless of whether they resulted in a commission or not. And I think that has a greater impact on people. So 2 ideas based on a percentage and a flat amount. Okay, this is, let's see. Faisal is asking, okay, I have a goal to build a home for someone in need overseas. Wherever someone goes, whenever someone buys or sells a home through me, do you know any organization that can help with creating this? Yes, Faisal, if you look up a guy named Justin Jarbo, he's in the Westford Market Center in Massachusetts, right outside of Boston. He's part of the M1 group. You know the Go Abundance Mastermind. He's in the M1 group, which is March to their first million. So he's under Rock's guidance, and I've coached him. I've trained Justin Jarbo. He created his own 503c charitable organization, a foundation. You can do the same thing, Faisal. So you can raise funds through the foundation that will be used to build this home, which I think is an awesome, awesome idea. So start with Justin, and then you'll likely have to have someone locally in New Jersey actually help you set that up, but he can give you the ins and outs of that. It's actually quite easy, Faisal. Matter of fact, if you just Google 503c, you'll get the federal guidelines for that. In any case, let's see. Faisal, sorry, I was asking about South Carolina town with the 100. So Faisal, we've been able to buy properties within a few miles of Hilton Head, a place called Bluffton. Bluffton, South Carolina is right outside of Hilton Head. Certain parts of Myrtle Beach, there are still homes there you can get they're not like going to be oceanfront. In most cases, you can get them for 100,000. Every now and then you'll see a foreclosure. They still pop up down here that you can pick up for about 100 grand. And some of those could actually be oceanfront or ocean view. There was a time when people were able to do more of those. What I would do is I look at the local banks, Faisal, using banktracker.com and see which banks down here have non-performing assets and approach those banks. It's better if you approach them in person, but in your case, you're going to probably have to call them because you're in New Jersey. But you can use banktracker.org to see which banks have non-performing assets, which are loans heading south in this area. You're going to have better luck outside of Myrtle Beach and outside of Hilton Head. Right around Charleston, man, it's hard to get properties around Charleston. Definitely at those prices, they're going to be more expensive. It's just Charleston is more of a livability city, is more local residents living here. It has a permanent population. The permanent population of Myrtle Beach is only like 23,000 people. Okay, everybody else owns second homes and things like that. Hilton Head's the same kind of way. Hilton Head's a very tight knit. They call them regimes in Hilton Head. They're like neighborhoods called regimes. Are all gated. Well, once you get outside of Hilton Head, you've got regular communities, okay, that you can buy properties in. Let's see, this is Myrna. Hi, Myrna. Do you know Gary, do you know which one of the activities listed give you the best results? Yeah, I'll tell you what, Myrna, let me get through them all. And then, because I knew that question was going to come up. So let me get through them all, Myrna, and I'll give you my personal recommendation when we're all done, okay? I will tell you this though, Myrna. The first one, letter A, was send out a physical thank you note. Can never go wrong with that. That's like sort of like a premise for everything else you do. You send out the thank you card in your own handwriting. It makes it so much easier to do these other things, like a contest, putting something in a text, in an email. All those things have a much greater chance of responses if you send the thank you card out to your clients when you have a transaction, okay? Excellent question, but I'll give you more details later. Okay, let's see, Myrna, do you know the cost per client for activities listed? That's a subject. That's every person is different, Myrna. So you might not do this for every single client. I know for me personally, I never did all of these techniques with every single client. I would always test things. So I would do a few of these techniques, see what kind of results I got. Try something else, check the results, try something else, get the results. So it's very difficult to say what you're spending per client. It just, everybody's different. Every case, it's case by case. What I would recommend there, Myrna, is to determine how much of your budget can you allocate to generating referrals. And I will tell you this, there's a general rule of thumb. You will spend more money getting brand new clients than you ever will getting referral clients. So what I recommend is this: if your goal is to get just one referral per client, and on average, your average transaction is netting you $6,000 in commission, and we know a normal referral, we would pay 25%. So that means if you would normally pay $1,500 for a referral, well, there's your budget right there. Okay, so think in those terms. Like there's no real average or anything I can give you. It just depends on what you want to do and how much you want to do it. But the question I would phrase is in terms of what your profit is for your average transaction and what you normally pay for an average referral if another agent sends you a referral to this. Work backwards from those terms, okay? Let's see, this is Renee. Hey, Renee. I am attending an investor group meeting on Monday. Any advice on how to make connections? Yeah, so Renee, what I would do is instead of bringing just a basic business card, it's a little bit late for you to order some of my books, but you can get the books dirt cheap. I mean, they're like, I think you can go to, I don't know how this works because I don't do it myself, but through My Investor Services, the basic book, there's one on flipping, one on buying rentals, one on managing rentals, one on wholesaling. You can get those off Amazon for $10, but I think if you go through My Investor Services, you get it for $5. It's just basically the cost of shipping. The other thing you can do, Renee, is this: is if you go to the silver level, let's just go there. We keep talking about it. Let me just go to silver level. Okay, so Myrna, you go to My Investment Services, okay, and you want to click on Members Area right here. So you got About Us, Products, Events, Members Area. Click on Members Area. Then you want to click on Silver Level, Myrna. So click on, Renee, excuse me, click on the Silver Level. Okay, on the left-hand side is where you have all the options you can take, all kinds of stuff. My God, the newsletter we call the Profit Booster, the Profit Blog, which is a almost daily blog, Cash buyers report, you guys definitely want to use that. The private lenders report, if these are on demand, you can pick them up anytime you want. Special webinar meetups, the weekly webinars, all of them going back for 3 years now. Interviews with different celebrities and other students. Premier ebooks, this is what I was going to show you. Let me finish this. Down at the bottom, this is all your calculators, the spreadsheets. Right above that is different marketing techniques and docs, different websites to help you research people and properties, okay? Regular ebooks, this is right above that, but here's the one I want you to click on, Renee. Click on Premier ebooks. As long as you're silver level or above, you can download these for free onto your own computer. They're all out here. Investor agent, flipping for profit, rental profits, wholesaling, this is property management. You can download these and share these with your client. And then it doesn't cost anything. It's electronic, so it's not as good as giving them a physical book. I prefer you give people a physical book, actually. So in any case, that's one thing you can do, Myrna. Also, another thing, Myrna, is I don't know if I would give them the cash buyers report, but you could print off the private lenders report, take it to this investor club meeting, and show them who the private lenders are in the area. That'd be a real good way to get you some business and contacts. You could also even bring in, maybe bring in a sheet of some of the websites you get to do research on people and properties and share that. But I think if you give them electronic, get their contact information, you can send them the book, okay? And also maybe bring in a printout of the private lenders report. And then you'd have a really good arsenal, because every other agent that might be there, they're all going to have like pamphlets and brochures and just business cards and stuff like that. This stuff's going to set you apart from the crowd big time, okay? So good question, by the way, thank you. Let's see here. Fassel, how do you spell his last name? It's J-A-R-B-O, Justin Jarbo, J-A-R-B-O. Real neat guy. Let's see, Justin last name. Yeah, sorry, Kevin, we just gave you that, all right? Let's see, this is from Gift. Hey, Gift, how are you? Gift is asking, how often do you recommend to make donation, or every time when you have a referral, you write $25 check? Yeah, so we actually just talked about that. So the two options are a gift. You can make a small gift donation for every referral you receive. Don't worry about whether they turn into an actual commission. Or option B is base it on your actual income and maybe make a 10% donation out of your net proceeds for each transaction that came to you through a referral. So let's say you got a $6,000 commission and you've got to give your broker a portion of that. Then there's fees and dues, all this stuff comes out. You can, whatever the leftover is, you can do 10% of that. That's option B. Option one is just do $25 per referral. Believe it or not, you'll actually get really good results from that. People just, they like the fact that you took action. The dollar amount is secondary to them. It's the fact that you actually made a donation simply because they gave you a referral with no attachment to the outcome. That speaks louder than almost anything you can do. In fact, I'll just tell you, or Irma was asking this, that is one of the top ones I did. Making a charitable donation, hands down, one of the best ones. I outperformed probably everything else, in fact. It all started with thank you card, though. Okay, let's see. Renee says thank you. You're welcome, Renee. All right, so let's do this, guys. Let's get back to the Word document. So we talked about donations. Right now, hey, check this out. So Renee, here's the very next thing I had on the list. How's that for divine guidance? Which is give them a copy of one of the books, the premier books, the ones that have real meat and potatoes. The free books, any of y'all can get those online for free, and you can brand them to be your own. The premier books, you can't do that. They are already branded through My Investment Services. They pay me for the use of my name and all that kind of stuff. But you can get, my recommendation is always buy them in blocks of 5, because it's just, I think the shipping and handling is going to be cheaper that way. You can get them in blocks. Keep a batch with you. Keep 5 on flipping, 5 on buying rentals, 5 on wholesaling. And that way, when you come across somebody, you can say, hey, I've got a great book you may want to read. And inside, you can put your contact information on the inside cover. How about that? You can revert to the, I think I misspelled this. You can revert to The electronic version, I can't spell referees. How about that? I think it wants me to spell referee, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the people you're giving as referrals are your referees. In any case, give them, copies of the books, even if it's electronic. That's better than nothing. It's just when you hand somebody a physical book, it has a lot more impact. Okay, another idea is put something on your Facebook page. Okay, something about the fact that the service you provide is unique, and you want to help your clients help their loved ones. So, have them connect you with their clients. In fact, what you can do is have them just simply suggest a person to like, so they can suggest you to their loved one, that they come and like you on your page, and now you've got a connection. And through that Facebook page, you can download reports, all kinds of stuff, electronic books and things like that. You can also talk about the fact that you make a charitable donation, and you could put in there a little blurb about the cause that you're making a donation for. So lots of things you can do with a Facebook page. You can also put the link for there's a link Facebook hot button you can get, and you can put it in your emails. You can put it on your websites. There's lots of things you can do to connect people to your Facebook page. Okay, another idea is, create a little package for new investors. In your material, we give you the right to do this. We give you the right to take a calculator or worksheet, a spreadsheet, and put your own name and number on there, an email address, of course, too. And if you're really savvy, what I recommend is if you're working with somebody who bought a rental and you want to get more business from people who buy rentals, because it's usually more repeat business. People who flip homes generally don't have the staying power that the people who buy rentals do. People who buy rentals generally are longer term. Flippers tend to come and go. Very few flippers I've ever met stayed with it forever. They'll flip you a few houses, then something will go wrong, and then they'll stop. But people who buy rentals, a higher percentage of them stay longer. What I'm getting at is, go out there, look for an example of a rental, even if it's a closed transaction, as long as you have the information, profit, loss, and income expense. Fill out the worksheets and the calculators and say, look, would you mind giving this to one of your loved ones that you think may be interested in investing in rentals just like you? I've printed off an example of one with some example worksheets so they can see part of what this takes to do this. I promise you it'll generate some business, okay? Another great idea. Actually, thanks Renee again for the idea, your question earlier, because guess what? Here's this next one. Use the private lender report. So definitely, guys, this is on demand. You can get that. You request it. It usually comes the very next day, but there's no limit on how often you do that. And you definitely want to redo that like at least every month, because every month the private lender report will change, okay? Okay, workshops. Every one of you should be doing, at some point, you should be doing workshops. It's one of the best ways to generate business and build up a clientele. And one of the things you can do in a workshop is promote the fact that, hey, if you guys really want to help your loved ones, bring them into the next workshop the next time. And you may in fact get a new client out of that. Or you can just simply say in the workshop, pass around a sheet of paper, referrals up top, and say, everybody provide the name and number and email for at least one person that you think would be interested in this. And now you got contact information. Some people will do it, some people won't. You can even run a contest to say whoever gives me the most contacts wins a free dinner. Simply, lots of things you can do in your workshop, okay? And let's see, so the main thing with the workshop, guys, is the fact that it's embedded in its own design, that at the end of every workshop, you encourage them to bring somebody with them the next time, a family member, a coworker, a church member, neighbor, whatever the case is. And indirectly, that person they bring with them may in fact become a client of yours. And you have to remember that they came through the workshop through one of your existing clients. And if you get a transaction out of it, you want to make sure you repeat the process, give them the thank you card and everything else, okay? That's the main thing with the workshop. All right, now, another thing you can do is, some of you have grown some pretty big groups. Some of you have groups that are in the 200 and 300 and 400 range, 400 participants in your workshops. you're probably in a position where you can use my sales pitch webinars for the individual training program. So if you're interested, I will do a special webinar. So real quick, everybody pay attention here. I do this usually every year. In fact, it's coming up on that time. We just did this last July. I have a special webinar. It's a special program where I teach you how to sell the other programs, okay? And in there, I give you the webinar, the actual PowerPoint presentation that goes with each of those individual programs. And what you can do is present that in one of your monthly workshops and announce it ahead of time. Say, hey, next month we got a special event. I'm going to be talking specifically about buying rentals with Gary Wilson. He's provided us his PowerPoint presentation and some contents and notes and things like that. And in there, you can at the end you can say, if you guys really like this, you need to work with us through the training program on Path to Prosperity. Work with Gary. So keep that in mind. If some of you, we'll send something out. We'll send something out about that. And if you're interested, every year we take about 10 people. Okay, we only do it once a year, and we only take about 10 people. It's just very time consuming for me to do that, but it's also very rewarding. So great way to drum up not just referrals, but you remember every program you sell, you get $500. Okay. So in any case, use of the community site. Remember on Buy Invested Services. So let's go back there. If you go back up to the top, let's see, My Invested Services, silver level. All right, hang on, I'm trying to get to the, here's community sites. Everybody look at this. On the silver level members area, you have, of course, this is where you access the community sites. You click on here, all right? And in here, you want to build your profile. Every one of you has the right and the access to build your own profile. These are all student profiles. What that means is people can find you, okay, wherever you are to receive referrals. Because remember, investors are often, they're not always investing just in your area. Particularly foreign investors, they're investing in multiple locations. So what I would suggest is you can send a message out to everybody, giving them some valuable information about your area. If you have an area that's really good for rentals, show that. Put the information, send this out to everybody in the network so they know to send referrals to you for people who want to buy rentals. If your area is great for flipping, give information for that. If it's great for wholesaling, give information for that and show examples. Because then you'll have front of mind presence. All these other agents, no matter where they are, can send you referrals from anywhere in the country. Okay, how about them apples? So that's community, and you can receive and send referrals to the community site. All right, so let's go back here. Use of community site. Okay, joining referral networks. There's lots of different referral networks out there. Matter of fact, if you just Google referral network, you'll find a network in almost any industry. And oftentimes you can join for free. Some of them are paid services. We'll talk about one of them later. Let's just talk about it now. There's an organization called BNI, okay, Business Network International. They're in almost every town and city I've ever been, guys. You can look for the ones in your area. Google BNI in your town or city. See which ones exist and see if they're taking on new members. And it's a tight, closed-knit referral network where you have people from different industries. So you'll be let's say the investor or the realtor. You'll have somebody in the medical field, somebody in the engineering field, somebody in the banking, what have you. And what happens is wherever you have a business that requires repeat clients, you can refer clients to each other in the group. It's an awesome way to get referrals. Those generally cost it's like $10 a month or something, if I remember correctly. And they're very strict. You got to show up. You got to show up every month when they meet. Sometimes they meet bi-weekly, sometimes weekly, sometimes it's just once a month. Show up and meet and get yourself some referrals. If you don't have a BNI in your area, guess what? You can create your own BNI. How do you like them apples? Okay, so that's referral networks. Now, real quick. Let me check for questions. I just saw a couple of people type questions in, so hang on one second. Okay, I got some catching up to do here. Let's see, Bonetta, Gary, I can't see the screen. I can just see you. I'm not sure everybody, it looks like everyone else can see the screen. But then it may be something in the settings on your computer. I wish I could help you right now, but do me a favor, get the email from Beverly tomorrow to watch the recording and see if it pops up then. If not, there may be a setting. I don't know if I can help you personally because I'm not that computer literate. But Paul might be able to, for example. I don't know. We'd have to look at your computer, I guess. I apologize about that. Let's see. This is Daryl. Okay, Daryl's asking, okay, at the workshops, you can also speak about becoming an agent and signing with KW. This can build your downline. I don't do it at every workshop, but every now and then I will mention it. Good idea, Daryl. So in fact, though, one of the things we did up in New York City for the New York City Investors Club, it's a RIA group, is the person who runs that group is one of our KW brokers. She's Teresa Martin. She's a broker and an attorney and an investor, and she runs the New York City Investors Group. So I went up there to speak to her investors group, teaching her the same thing I've taught y'all. And the purpose was, of course, some of them would join and get their license to join. In fact, she did. I went up there, 50 people showed up on a Saturday. I think she got like 5 new agents or something like that. It's crazy, her downline. So good idea, Daryl. It actually does work. Okay, this is PF. Jimenez PF is asking, okay, I'm a BNI member here in Massachusetts. Anyone needs to connection, let me know, I can help. Well, thanks PF. So if any of you guys are interested, PF, or you're on the community site. If you're not on the community site, PF, get your profile out there. And for everyone else, you can go out to the community site where we just were and look for PF and contact him. He can probably give you the quick skinny on how you actually get into BNI. All right, thanks PF for doing that, by the way. Okay, so back to this. We jumped from Join Referral Network to talking about BNI groups. I want to talk about when you actually get a referral, okay? The best time to get a referral is at the beginning of the relationship. Don't wait to the end, okay? People are most excited at the beginning of a relationship, and the beginning of a transaction relationship. Well, any relationship, of course, people are more excited in the beginning. That's when you ask for a referral. After you've got somebody agreed to list their property with you, or agreed to let you be their buyer's agent, that's when you get a referral, guys, okay? All right, now, rewarding them, really, really important. Remember, we talked about rewarding behavior. Always reward the actions, not the results. So some ideas on rewarding: a donation to our charitable organization, one of my all-time favorites, a gift card, a dinner voucher, discount for services. You know, maybe you want to think about jumping into property management, because it's a great business to be in, and you can offer some type of a discount on, you know, leasing their vacancies, for example, okay? Also, here's something kind of unique when it comes to rewards is, I used to have an annual picnic. Every summer, I'd go to the county park, rent a gazebo with the whole 9 yards, you know, horseshoe, it was down by a creek, and have everybody bring. We made it potluck. I'm kind of old-fashioned. I thought I could have the whole thing catered, and I had enough people tell me, please don't have it catered, Gary. Let everybody bring a covered dish, just like good old-fashioned hometown picnic. People loved it. Okay. One of the beautiful things about having a picnic, okay, is you tell them to invite a guest. Okay. So not only are you rewarding the person because they gave you referrals throughout the year, they're actually bringing someone with them who may in fact turn into a referral. It's like, I mean, it's like your cake and the icing and the cherry on top. Okay. So I used to love this partly because I like to eat food. I like being outdoors, and I just like being around my clients. I mean, we developed long-term relationships. I got invited to their children's weddings, all kinds of stuff. Okay. So I would consider that's, by the way, Irma, that's another top one. You only do it once a year, but boy, it's a lot of fun, and people will remember it the whole year through. They actually will look forward. They'll call you, or even, hey, when are we doing the next one? You know. All right, newsletter. Many of you probably don't have newsletters yet, and that's okay. It's not something that will be at the top of your priority list. However, at a certain point, you may want to consider creating your own newsletter, but don't call it newsletter. I've seen even top professional people call it, you know, John Smith's newsletter, Frank's monthly newsletter. That is about as dull as boring as you can get, guys. And everybody, there's tons of them out there. So I call mine the monthly profit booster. In other words, think of something emotional that people are interested in. Everybody's interested in making profit. And if you get a monthly booster in your profit, why not open up? So I have a very high open rate. But in your newsletter, you can talk about your referrals. Let them know that you make donations to a local charity. Whatever you want to promote or sponsor, a contest, a picnic, whatever, you can use your newsletter to do that. Okay, LinkedIn, another great network to belong in. There's a free version of LinkedIn and a pro version. Just do the free version. Later on, when you're up and running and you're generating multiple lines of business, you definitely want to join LinkedIn and do the pro version at that point. In the beginning, just join LinkedIn. You'll get all kinds of connections in your local area faster than you can possibly imagine. I mean, you have to be on it actively at least once a week, just for 10 minutes, right? That's all it is. But in there, you can look for referral business. You can look at what people do and say, hey, looks like you're pretty good at the printing business. Have you ever thought of deploying some of your capital to invest in a duplex or a flip? And put question mark and leave it. Don't over talk it. Don't put anything else. Just ask the question. You'll get far more responses from just simply asking the question than you will ever get from just promoting yourself, okay? So LinkedIn, Twitter, same thing. You got about 140 characters to work with, but you could say, hey, check this out. I want to acknowledge my good client, Jane Doe, who just gave me a referral. This referral turned into this transaction. And by the way, the referral who bought the property, the referee, it's a duplex. Check this out. And you give them a link to click on. They can see the property that person bought. You can use Twitter. All right, Instagram, I don't personally do this. However, my marketing person does this for me. I don't even know how it works. But Instagram, guys, for the millennials is huge. Younger than millennials too, by the way. It's probably like the current version of Facebook was back 15 years ago. 15 years ago. People think of Facebook for the older crowd now and Instagram for the younger crowd. But Instagram works. People use it like crazy. Right now, real quick, I mentioned earlier that the time to get a referral is at the beginning of the relationship, and that's absolutely true. However, there's something else you can do at the closing, okay? At the closing table, when somebody gets up, they just bought their property, they just sold their property, the transaction's over, everybody's glad to get out of there. Before you leave, you can do this with both clients, by the way. Once a transaction is consummated and the HUD sheet is signed, you as an agent, it doesn't matter which client you're representing, you can approach either client with this. You can say, hey, it was great to meet you. I'm so glad that you were able to sell your house or buy this property. Have you ever considered buying a small rental or flipping a home? It's one of the easiest things you can do. It's completely for free. And you may get what we call an internal referral, which is the referral is the client who you've already served, and you get to serve them again. It's like a cross sell. And 3 months later, you might sell them a duplex or sell them a flip. And then if it's a flip, 6 months later, you get that property again to relist, okay? Just remember, always remember to do this, guys, at the closing. And so Irma, this one is probably number 3 and how I got a lot of extra business just by simply asking that question at the closing table, okay? All right, now I'm gonna go back to questions here in a second, but I wanna remind you guys of something. We're gonna probably promote this more coming up probably this year, but I want to remind you that when you refer people to me, to my investment services, to buy one of the other training programs, maybe they're a flipper, maybe they're a landlord buying rentals, whatever the case is, maybe they're a wholesaler, they can buy one of our training programs and you will get $500 for that. So who here would like to make $500? You think that's a pretty generous referral reward, okay? So in any case, if it consummates, if it develops into a transaction, we go big on the cash payout on that. It's, I think, like 20% actually is what it is. Now you guys all get it. Most of you got it. If you're in a real estate office, you got it at a discount for that office. Anybody else generally paid the full price. But as a reward for you being in one of the programs, if you refer other people to any other program, including the one you're in, we will actually give you $500. How about that? Okay, all right, let me go go back to the questions and make sure I didn't leave anybody hanging here. That was PF message. Charlie, hey Charlie, how you doing, buddy? All right, these are awesome ideas. My hand is tired from writing these notes. Sorry, Charlie. Hey, Charlie, just remember, I'm going to have Beverly send this Word document I'm in, send it to all of you tomorrow. So now you have the Word document with all the ideas and also your handwritten notes. And I want to kind of ask you guys to commit to something here. Don't just watch and read and listen and learn, but implement. So what I want to challenge you to do is take 3 of these that you're going to commit to yourself to execute in the next 30 days. Let's just say by the end of June. If you want to come to Atlanta, how about we have a contest? You come to Atlanta and we'll reward the person who got the most referrals between now and the end of June by using any of these techniques. But I suggest you take 3. Don't try to pick all of them or 10 or 11. That's too many. 3 things is hard to manage. Just know that I know that personally, right? If you do only 1, that's better than none, but pick 3, okay? Thank you for the comment, Charlie, by the way, I appreciate that. Okay, this is Renee's saying me, okay, oh, and I'm not sure, and me, so maybe Renee's a referee, maybe that's the case, I'm not sure of that. Okay, Renee what is PF name? Oh, it's PF Jimenez. So real quick, Jimenez and PF. So so Renee's gonna look you up, PF, okay? All right, guys, you know what? That's the end of the questions, and guess what? It is exactly 8 p.m. I don't know how we managed to do that, but we managed to finish right exactly on time. So this was a fun subject for me, guys, because it's not one that people normally ask about, and it's a shame because it can dramatically increase your production just by doing a few of these things. I'm glad to share them with you. I'll be sharing. What I'll do is we'll do more of these with you guys throughout the summer months. Maybe we'll start in July or something. So you'll see these referral programs in action from us to you to help you make $500, okay? And of course, you make a charitable donation on your behalf, but then you can see them in action and you can copy the ones you really like the most, okay? So in any case, I appreciate your participation tonight, guys. I look forward to seeing you all when I get to see you again. Some of you will be in Atlanta. I look forward to that. For those of you in Georgia, I'll be seeing you over the next 4 weeks. My last class in South Carolina is tomorrow in Charleston. But in any case, God bless you all. God bless your families. I thank you for the opportunity to teach you. I really appreciate that. And I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And we will see you next week, which is going to be Tuesday, the 5th of June. Okay. Let's see if I've got an agenda for that yet. I don't think I've written one down. Yeah. If you have ideas for next Tuesday, please email me. And I'll prepare for next Tuesday to talk about whatever subject you want. All right, guys. Hope you have a great night. And I'll see you next week. Take care and God bless.